All right, let's start out this video by saying I take 100% responsibility. I am at fault. I did this to myself, and whatever happens from it, I deserve it because I'm an idiot. With that said, I wanted to make this video as a PSA so nobody else out there takes this garbage. This is called Melanotan 2. Melanotan 2 is a peptide that you got to know a guy that knows a guy that knows a guy to get a hold of it. And basically what it does is you give yourself a daily injection in your belly fat, and it increases the amount of melanin that your body produces, which makes you darker. You become more tan. And as you guys know, the whole Robert Frank, Jack the Tan, I have a tanning obsession. I've had it way before the Robert Frank videos. I've had it way before the Jersey Shore GTL phenomenon. I had it way before the Growing Up Gotti kids were on A&E back in, 2005. I don't know. I've been tanning since the late 90s, pretty much a couple times a week without stopping, aside from the times that I was in the hospital. And it's just something that I like to do. So whatever you guys want to judge, you could judge. But I woke up one day and I said, I just want to be darker. And I want to see if this stuff works. So I got my hands on it. And basically, when you get stuff like this, it doesn't come with instructions. So you go online, you try to figure out how to dose it, how to use it, what to do. After a couple of days of doing the loading phase, I started noticing that I was getting tanner. I only took this stuff for about 3 weeks, and then I was getting scared at how dark I was getting. This stuff, it works, but it doesn't work without its consequences. Immediately after taking my first pin of this Melanotan, I started feeling super flush, nauseous, lightheaded. So then you go online, you look up the symptoms, what happens to people, and everybody will say, take it right before bed. It'll give you a stomach ache. It'll make you nauseous. It'll make you lightheaded, queasy, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay, this is all normal. Then after a couple of days of taking it, I started noticing a lot of freckles popping up on my body that I never remember having before. They were all over my arms. They were popping up daily, not just one or two. I'm talking about dozens a day that I may have had them already and I just didn't notice them because I'm not always looking at my arms. You know, you look at yourself in the mirror and you kind of look down here and there, but I don't inspect my body for freckles. I was getting dozens of new freckles a day that I never knew I had. So of course you go online, you Google it, and one of the side effects of taking the Melanotan is it will make very light freckles that you've always had that you never knew you had darker. So, and it will promote the growth of moles, and this sounds like horrible shit, I know, but I was like, okay, so this is all normal. All these new freckles that I'm getting, I've always had them, and they're part of the gig, right? So I continued taking this crap. After dozens of new freckles a day, feeling like crap all the time, what really started to scare me was when I became darker than Ray Vegas. And we would take pictures together, and I was clearly shades darker than my black best friend. And I was like, all right, this is enough. Enough is enough. Let me stop this crap. So when I stopped, I was not feeling good, and I didn't know if I was getting a case of the flu. I don't know if I had some kind of a bug. I don't know if I was just tired. I'm not sleeping well enough. Maybe it's because I don't use my CPAP machine, and I'm supposed to use my CPAP machine. So when I moved to Florida, I told Jason, the CEO, owner of Steel Supplements, how I was feeling, and he told me to go get some lab work done. Now in Florida, I don't have a doctor. I don't have a primary. And the only way I could describe how I felt is that I felt like there was poison running through my veins. Straight poison, straight fire. Did not feel good. Night sweats. I would wake up, my pillow and my sheets would be drenched. Always, I could fall asleep I could lay down in the middle of the day after 9 cups of coffee. I was abusing energy drinks and coffee and everything just to get the caffeine to kind of keep me awake. Now, they wanted me to go to the emergency room and just describe my symptoms. But how do you tell someone that, oh, my symptoms are I feel like there's poison running through my veins, you know? So he was like, listen, if you don't want to go to the emergency room, why don't you go to one of these little labs that they have all over Florida where you kind of play doctor yourself. They have these little walk-in clinics that you pretty much, it's an a la carte thing. You pick what blood test you want. Oh, you want the lipid panel, you want the metabolic panel, you want your testosterone, you this, that. You pick and choose what you want. You kind of play doctor yourself to see what the numbers come back. And it's just like a LabCorp or a Quest diagnosis. And it'll show you what's high, what's low. It looks like a regular normal blood test. So after my first labs came back, we tested for your normal lipid panel, your metabolic panel. We threw testosterone on there. I think he threw thyroid on there and some other things. Came to like $500 for the test without insurance. So I got that done. Results came back a couple days later, and a couple of things were high, but nothing really alarming. But I noticed that the kidney function was a little bit high, slightly elevated, nothing really to be alarmed about, but just like a tad over the normal range. So he was telling me, he was like, listen, bro, I think you're dehydrated. You live in Florida now. You're always in joggers and hoodies still, living to this day, living in Florida, dressing like that. You are probably dehydrated. You're pushing yourself. Why don't you fucking take a break? Like, just relax, fucking rehydrate. So I started with all the Pedialyte drinks and doing that and drinking a lot of water, which I never do. But I stopped with the caffeine drinks and I just started to rehydrate. So I was doing this for a couple days and I was not feeling any better at all. I was still pushing myself to go to the gym because that's who I am. I love to go to the gym. Even though I was not getting good workouts, I felt like crap. I felt like I could go to sleep on the machine at any given time, no matter how much pre-workout I was taking. I just felt like absolute dog shit. I woke up last Sunday morning and I said, you know what? I keep driving past all these IV drip places, these little spas. They're called IV spas all over Florida. And basically what you do is you go in, they set you up with an IV, and it's almost like you're in the hospital. The bag drips into your veins, and the place that I went to had 5-star reviews. I didn't get clearance from Jason or anybody to do this. I was like, you know what? I'm dehydrated. That's what's wrong with me. Let me go get this shit taken care of. And they give me this athlete's drip that had 90 different chemicals and minerals in it, plus the regular saline. You know, they added this to the bag and that to the bag and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I was there for about an hour and a half, and I actually left feeling worse. So I told Jason, I said, listen, bro, I didn't ask you first, but I felt really dehydrated. I thought this would help me, and I went here. He goes, bro, you shouldn't have done that. Go get yourself a regular Ringer's lactate IV drip from this place. So he sent me to a new place. Now this is Tuesday, 2 days after I got the first drip. Sends me to a place just to get a regular IV bag. When you go to the hospital, you're dehydrated, that's what they give you. It's called a Ringer's lactate or lactate Ringer's. I forget how it goes. I get that done. Didn't feel any better. Still feeling like there's poison in my body, sweating all through the night. Mind you, I haven't taken this crap in well over a month. I was at the gym last Wednesday night, and something new started happening. When I was working out and getting the pump, it didn't feel good at all. It didn't feel like there was blood in the muscle. It felt like there was battery acid in the muscle. It was burning like you would not believe. So the next day, which was Thursday, I told Jason, I said, hey, bro, something new is happening now. So I told him I felt like when I was exercising and, getting the pump, that it was just battery acid in my muscles. Not a good feeling like I want to take my shirt off and take a selfie. It was, I want to curl up in a ball and freaking die. So he goes, all right, we need to check your CK, which I have on the computer here, is called creatine kinase. So CK basically will let you know if you have something called rhabdomyolysis. I think that's how you say it. I call it rhabdo. It's got a longer name, but it's the CrossFit disease. And from all these years of me making fun of CrossFit back in the early mid-2010s, it came back to bite me in the ass, because when I got the CK checked last Thursday, the results came in yesterday afternoon, my CK levels are almost 10 times higher than they should be. Now, in severe cases of rhabdomyolysis, they could be up to 100 times higher than normal ranges. That's when you're knocking on death's door, your kidneys are failing, you need dialysis, and shit is hitting the fan. Now, my the way I got rhabdo is not through exercise and not through pushing myself, although that could have contributed a little bit to it. Mine was toxin induced. That's another way that you could get it. And this stuff basically poisoned me. So I strongly suggest anybody out there that's thinking about, 99% of the people don't even know a peptide like this exists that makes you tanner. But if you are thinking about trying this stuff, please do not, because it poisoned me and it could poison you. And I don't want that to happen to I don't want anybody to feel the way that I'm feeling right now. So the only solution to curing this rhabdo is rest. So no gym, no fasted cardio. I have to watch my diet. I can't have a bunch of fucking crap, which I don't eat anyway. No alcohol, no caffeine. And basically it's like a bed rest type thing where all you have to do is just chill, relax. And in about a week or so, I'm going to get my CK levels checked again. If they're starting to come down, I know I'm on the right path. And if they're hovering around where they were at, or God forbid, go higher, I promise myself that I'm going to check myself into the ER and I'm going to have them monitor it and do whatever they have to do. But for right now, I'm just really going to focus on rehydrating myself and trying to stay out of the damn hospital again. So that is your history lesson for today, guys. Don't mess with this peptide called Melanotan 2. It jacked me up. It could jack you up. And I don't want to see anybody go through what I'm going through. Yeah. To be continued.